No matter how far you roam, Africa is in you and will never leave you. That's the spirit which leaps from the prints of one of Joburg's most thrilling illustrators, designers, and artists. While his work is distinctive, everyday South Africans can still see themselves in it.
Hello Inside SA, my name is Lazi Mathebula. I'm a visual artist. Welcome to my studio. I'm excited to spend a day with you guys today. I grew up in Alex. It's a tight-knit community, so there's a lot of influence because we are closer to each other. So sharing things was easy, it could be good and bad, So I think that's kind of how it started with me. And then there was I was around people that were interested in art, and I was also interested in it, but it was we were told that art has no money, so pursuing it is really pointless, Yeah, but I think there was influences in the township in terms of recreating those experiences and improvising and, seeing things being done with under-resourced intentions, So I've always been in it, just seeing things being done and, building shacks and all that stuff. That's art to me, So the elements that I bring into my work, there's a couple, one being street culture, one being African culture. I want people to look at the work and see that this is about us, whether it's the lines or the pattern, and patterns is something that we kind of own as Africans, So I just like to gravitate towards that a lot, and everything that I do has to have elements of either a print, a pattern, everything has to have that African feel to it, So it's just bringing all those things, but borrowing from the library and the archives of an African context, Well, my understanding of being a visual artist is work that is consumed by the eye, and then it's only visually appealing, and then it has an emotional and a mental substantiation sometimes. You see with your eyes, but you're gonna feel it with your heart, and you're gonna understand it with your mind, And maybe it triggers your mind to think certain things and your heart to feel certain things. So it's a visual representation, but it has other senses that it's part of the property of, What I'm doing here is screen printing. So what it is basically is printing on whatever you want surface. Could be fabric, could be paper. Usually I use 100% cotton because it holds the ink nicely and it's kind of natural. So usually you need a screen, you need your ink, then this is the squeegee. This is the guy that makes everything possible. These are open, negative spaces are open where the ink can go through, and the blue is blocking the negative. So this ink then goes in, as you can see. It then stains that negative, The science is to make sure that your squeegee is at a 45 degrees angle. So you know if maybe you pulled and then the ink didn't spread evenly, you know that, okay, maybe I can do it maybe 60 degrees so that I can get a little bit of it out. But then the most recommended is to have it at a 60 degrees. Now, the next step is to dry it so that the ink holds onto the fabric. So usually to let it dry, you put it in a heat bed, but I just prefer a heat gun, and then you just heat it just like you dry it, And this helps the ink to sit and, almost like you can iron it. There's different methods which you could do it, but I just prefer a heat gun just to give it a dry, because it's it's a quick shop thing here, So now that this is done, we're gonna take it to a friend next door who's makes clothes. He's gonna put this together and make some garments with it.
His work is quite incredible. It's quite crazy. I have seen his work, and I'm also very fascinated. And being part of, the construction of the whole thing. I mean, bringing this whole thing into life for me, it's a blessing. It's a pleasure for me. Anytime, man. I support all artists in all form. He has a very sharp eye, quite critical and direct. When he doesn't like something, he's straight to the point. If he's happy with something, he can't even hide it.
We are currently at Artivist. This is where I'm doing my 4th solo exhibition. Work about Sophia Town, inspired by Sophia Town. The story is about the things that happen in Sophia Town that maybe some people don't know, but the idea is to ignite some kind of thought into the existence and the demolishing of Sophia Town. So this is the show. So we have different characters. Some of them are dubbed from like Sophia Town. Some of them are compositions that are created from just like putting them together. And I use different materials, obviously, to make these. We have sculptures and we have like framed works. And with the framed works, it's paper coated with like salt and sugar and sand, just to create this rustic feel, which is reflective of the times, you know? Like when you think about Sophia Town, you know, the township, you think about sand, dust, you know, just mhlabati, rust, you know, and this is like patinaed on the work just to represent that, you know? So this is an original picture of Henry Ngumalo, you know, for those that know him, he was a writer for Drum Magazine, and I combined it with a tailor because journalists used to disguise themselves so that they can get the scoop. You wouldn't go in there as you were. You had to disguise if you're a tailor, but you're looking at the things that are happening and taking notes at the same time. It's like a representation of a desk. You can say, oh, it looks like he's playing a piano, or it looks like he's typing, and you know, and which is like writers, that's what they do, they type, you know. So this is like also like a very ambiguous piece. All of these are my favorites, but this has like a special place in my heart, you know, because there's so many details and the intricacies that you see in the work. What's next, man, it's staying the course. You know, for me, it's like, it's not really about planning ahead, it's being in the present, you know, because being in the present then allows for the future to almost be prepared for, you know. So I like to stay the course, pay my time, do my time, and my advice would be hard work really does pay off. You know, this idea of like working smart, that's cool, but like if you really do put in the hard work, the payoff is not necessarily financially, it's in you being able to produce things in a way that's beautiful, because the world needs beautiful things, you know, and we exist in that manner.